Hey guys, Tony Maritato here, physical therapist. So in this video, I want to share an article published in the Spine Journal, what was it, April 2017, talking specifically about the inaccuracies of using an MRI to diagnose. This case, it was specifically low back pain. But in other cases, it could be used incorrectly to diagnose problems with your knee. So guys, let me jump into the article. I'll post a link to the article. You can get full access to this. I'll post a link in the description below. But basically, if we take a look just at the abstract for a minute, the article is, I would consider it fascinating. So what happened was a female, she was 63 years old with a history of low back pain and L5 radicular symptoms. That basically means that she had some radiating pain or numbness or tingling or something going on down the leg. We don't know how far. She went through 10 MRI studies in 3 weeks across 10 different centers. And what they did was they compiled the results, and they found that across all 10 study examinations, there were 49 distinct findings reported related to the presence of a distinct pathology at a specific segment location. Now, I know that's a lot of gibberish, but let me get into the rest of this. So they went on to say that 0 interpretive findings were reported across all 10 studies. What does that mean? That means that 10 studies were done, and there wasn't a single pathology identified that was consistent across all 10 studies. Can you imagine that? You understand what that means? So in other words, I have always had in my mind, well, it's the answer. It's going to tell us what's wrong. It's going to tell me what's going on. I go and have an MRI done, and they tell me a diagnosis. They tell me that I've got this problem at this level on this side. If I go to 9 more, there's going to be 9 different diagnoses, 9 different solutions. It's just crazy, the inaccuracies and the differences. And so let me get back into this. So across all 10 studies, there wasn't a single consistent interpretive finding. There was one finding reported in 9 out of the 10 studies. Of the interpretive findings, 32% appeared only once across all 10. Global, I'm not going to get into that because I can't even pronounce those words. The average interpretive error count in the study was 12.5. Both false positive, false negatives. Okay. The general conclusion. Now, this study had a very specific purpose in mind. This study was to look at, is there any difference across different MRI centers, different machines, in terms of the findings, the quality of the machines, the quality of the interpreter. So it says, in the conclusion, this study found marked variability in the reported interpretive findings and a high prevalence of interpretive errors in radiologist reports on MRI examinations of the lumbar spine performed on the same patient at 10 different MRI centers over a short period of time. Now, here's what this means to me. You may have had an MRI. The MRI may have indicated that you have pathology, problems, degenerative changes in the knee. Okay. What does that mean? In reality, that doesn't really mean a whole lot, because you didn't have an MRI on the non-painful knee. If you have a non-painful knee, some of you don't. But what happens is we develop this situation in healthcare where we take certain tests and we hold them to such a high importance in our diagnoses. You know, it's like, just imagine this for a second. Imagine every time it rains, I look up into the sky and I see clouds. Okay, that makes sense, right? every time it rains, I look up into the sky and I see clouds. Now, I automatically make this assumption in my head that every time there's clouds in the sky, it will be raining. We know that's not true, but take that analogy, or I think it's an analogy, and apply it to the situation. If I get pain in my knee, I get an MRI. When the MRI shows something going on in my knee, I assume that's the cause of the pain. Not true. Not true in every case, I should clarify. There's absolutely situations where there are degenerative changes in the knee joint, but that's not the cause of pain. What would you say if you had the same degenerative changes in the cartilage that covers the ends of the bone, in the meniscus, in the cartilage that covers the bottom of the kneecap? What if you had those same degenerative changes, but no pain, no loss in function? The knee didn't feel stable. The knee felt totally normal. Would you still go on to have a knee replacement when some of the stats we're seeing are 1 in 5 patients who have knees replaced are never satisfied with the outcome because the outcome results in the same level or worse pain and less function? I think these are questions we need to ask ourselves before we go into surgery. We need to look at the big picture, and we need somebody on our side who knows enough to ask better questions, just so that we can guide our decision-making process a little more clearly. Guys, this article is it's one of those landmark articles. Now, is this a large population? No, it's a population of 1. We're taking one specific case history, one example. I don't know where she went for the imaging. I don't know any of the stuff that was involved. This is just food for thought, but it's important enough that I think it needs to spur us to look at your personal situation from different perspectives. Guys, I hope this video was helpful. If it was, please take a minute, subscribe to the channel. The more subscribers I receive, the more content I can produce. And if you really want to help the quality of the channel, ask me questions. I am a real person. I'm here in my office. I don't have any patients right now because of COVID-19. So if you ask me questions, I will answer your specific questions. Ask me in the comments on YouTube. Guys, thank you so much. I'll catch you on the next video.